Hi, my name is Bo. I've been inspired by Hustleworks to document the building of my next project. It's a 93 non-turbo Supra, but I'll be heavily modifying with an engine swap, gearbox swap, and a lot of body modifications, and getting it back to looking good and being on the road and something you can be proud of. So I'll give you a quick look at it here. As you can see, the hatch is a different color. That's because the last one was extremely rusty in the corners. Here it's a common problem for these cars. The exhaust obviously is extremely small and weird, being a tiny twin exhaust, being a non-turbo. If you come around to the side, it's got this big scratch where it's been keyed all the way down. It's actually all the way down to the under fender as well, but this fender was so dented. But luckily I've had a friend who had another one, so I've been able to replace it. And so that has saved me a lot of time. But the key scratch continues to the other side. So you can see along here, all the way right up to almost onto the boot as well. So that's one of the first things I'm still going to be tackling. One of the first mods I did though was this big brake upgrade. So these brakes are from a Jeep Cherokee SRT 8, I believe they're called. And the rotors are from an ISF, a Lexus ISF. If Tavarish has a good video on how these are put on and what they're capable of. I got them in pretty bad condition, but I've since sanded them down, repainted them, then put the stickers on, just eBay stickers, and then put a high temp clear over the top to try and restore them back to their former glory, which I think looks a little better. Some of the other problems, these lights were in horrible condition. I'm sure you've seen a lot of videos, if you're into Supra builds, of how to repair them and how to pull them apart. Fairly simple. There's some clips at the back. If you pop the hood. There's some clips at the back here, all the way around. You unpick those, and then I put mine in the oven about 10-15 minutes at about 120 degrees, or you can use a heat gun to soften up the Sikaflex, and then you can pry these apart to get to these inner sections. Once I did that, pulled them all apart. I sanded the inner surrounds that surround the actual lights down. These are so brittle and weak, they actually snapped in a few places. So I then had to use araldite to glue them back together and then sand down the araldite. I couldn't save the chrome rings that you see around here. They were just too rusty, and I don't know how to paint chrome very well, so I didn't risk it. I just went for the straight black and then put them back together. I did use a headlight restorer on these to try and get them a bit clear. Is a lot better than what it was before, but actually watching Matt Pratt who is polishing, I decided to borrow a mate's polisher and try and do a better job. So you look on this one, it's quite a bit clearer. I still haven't put a coat or anything over it yet. I wouldn't mind getting it, giving it one more go to try and get it back to as transparent as possible, but it's definitely better than the other side was. As for the engine bay, you can see someone's had a go with a spray can and some some cheaper eBay hoses just to try and put some color into it. All this is going, except the battery. Obviously, battery still works, I'll be keeping that. But I'll be giving this to my mechanic as payment for helping me put in my new engine, which I'll show in a different video. And I might keep this radiator as well. I mean, it looks to be an eBay job, but it's very thick. It has fans already fitted to it, which you have to flick yourself inside on a switch. It's not governed by any ECU or anything. It's all self-done, which is obviously going to have to be fixed when I get onto the wiring for that. And while I'm in the engine bay, you can see over here, because of that brake upgrade, I've had to fit a brake bias valve in here. So this is the rear brake line that comes out of a master cylinder here, and you've got your two front brakes, so this goes to both rears. And this is because the difference in size of the brakes, the percentages of what pressure goes to the front and to the rear changes quite dramatically when you put these brakes on. So the rears are prone to locking up if you don't do this. So this way you can adjust the percentage to get it back to normal or more normal than it was before. So definitely, it was only a cheap like $50 piece, and my mechanic came over and with his pipe cutters and flare tool and managed to whack that on for me in about 10 minutes. So definitely something you need to do if you're looking to do that modification to your brakes. Other things on the front, I'd love to get some standard side skirts, the aero ones, but I actually don't mind the stock look. I'm trying to go all original, so if I can get original plastic ones, I will, but if not, I'll stick to these ones. The rear bar is still nice plastic, but it's had a big cutout for where the number plate goes, so I'm going to have to get something to cover that hole and then stick the number plate to that, because when you put the number plate on, you can still see the cutout top and bottom, and it just doesn't look very pretty. So that's something I'll have to fix on that. The taillights are pretty cracked, but I managed to pick up these ones for about $150. Pretty good nick. Really some very fine scratches and little hairline cracks, but that's expected for the age of this car, but it's nothing you can really see, not from a distance anyway. The bad side is over here. I don't know if it's had a repair or some damage, but it looks like just rattle can spray on there, and you can see the hairline cracks on here. So obviously when it goes in for paint, that'll have to be repaired. There's also a lot of dents on the car. On the roof here, you can see a few small ones. I've actually had to go up pulling them out just with the eBay glue pullers, where you glue a tab down and then use the pliers, or not pliers, but like a system where to pull the tab up, and glue then lifts the dent out of the metalwork. It actually works better than I thought it would, and I might give it another go soon and show you. But it only works on very specific dents, like ones where it looks like something big has pushed it in and you've got like a hollow. If you've got anything with that's sharp or a crease in it, it's not going to do it. On the bonnet here, I don't know if you can see one there, but I tried that one like 3 or 4 times and it just wouldn't get close to it because it's too sharp of an edge there. I really wanted an original front bar, but they're extremely expensive. So the one I did find had been cut out for a large intercooler. So I've had to do some modifications and repair to get it to a reasonable standard. I'm still working on it, so there's still some work to go. This is it here. So you can see the repairs on that lip. So that's off this front bar, which is a Ford XU Falcon, I believe. Got it for about 30 bucks, and just cut it. Had the right length I needed for the lip, so I cut that off and fitted it on here. It looks not too bad at the moment. Still some sanding and some more fiberglass work to do, especially along this lip to get a more sharper edge to match these sides here, because I've got a lip going on, just an eBay cheap lip, which is works pretty well, but it's a bit out of shape. As you can see, that's just from packing, I guess. It's only wrapped in bubble wrap, so it probably had some force on it that was moving it and squishing it a little bit out of shape. So, but it moves enough that a bit of heat on it, I should be able to get it back into shape. I'll show you behind at my repairs. So you can see I've used some plates and some pot rivets to create a shape, and then some fiberglass on the edges to try and get that original shape somewhat close to what it was before. And then I had to hollow out a little bit of a concave where the pot rivets went, and then fiberglassed over them so that you don't see them from the front. Very, very untidy from the rear, but not too many people are going to be looking at it from behind. So that's one. And it was a lot. This was only $200. So for that amount of money, I'm certainly happy, and it's better than the original front bar, which is just a Dulac copy fiberglass one, which was extremely heavy. I actually was thinking about keeping it, and I cut the shroud underneath to try and reduce the weight and lift it back up, because there's a big gap underneath the headlights. But it didn't really work, and I didn't want the fiberglass anyway. So finding this was good luck and good timing, but just a lot of work to get it to what I want. So some other, I'll just quickly show you my back shed, where I've kept some of my other gear. This is the back shed. You can see there's the fiberglass bar. Pretty poor condition. A lot of chips, a lot of cracks. It's for sale for anybody that wants it. Very cheap. Here is the boot that was on, and over there was the TRD copy wing, which I'll probably be keeping. I was looking for another one with the carbon fiber blade, but I've got a friend who's done some carbon fiber work before, so I'm going to ask him to show me how it works, and I'm going to try and either make a new one using that as a guide, or just put a coat of carbon fiber over that one and fix it up and get that ready for paint as well. Also the exhaust sitting in there from a friend, Angel. Some intercooler conversion parts, the old brakes from the NA. Conversion bell housing is for the this conversion kit from Castlemaine Rod Shop. I'm sure if you've done conversions on Supras before, you might have seen them or heard them. Spare door cards that I got from a friend who I got the hatch from. Really good deal. My door cards had a hole where your elbow sits, so I was just going to grab the armrest, but he was going to sell them to me such a good price that I thought I'd just pick up a spare pair of door cards, so that way I can take the best bits or use whichever ones I need to make the car look the best inside. Also a aftermarket carpet remake, so I'm going to pull apart the entire interior, redo all the seats, redo the carpet. Maybe I'm looking at maybe the headlining, cleaning up the headlining and maybe dyeing it or spraying it so it's all black. Haven't quite decided yet, so I'll show you that if I do that. There's in the corner is the dented fender just shoved in the back there, so I didn't need to worry about that. I'll show the interior and my ideas for the interior. So for the engine, it's going to be VVTi 2J that I picked up. It's already had a head rebuilt, standard cams though, but it had a 6-boost manifold, Borg Warner turbo, big injectors. You know, a lot of good stuff has already been put on it. It was very expensive, but 2J prices are extreme at the moment, so it was worth it in the end. Like the parts he had on it, it worked out cheaper buying it with the parts this person already had, rather than getting a stock Aristo, because I wanted the VVTi and then finding those parts myself and then putting them on myself. So I've got that, got a T56 which has been rebuilt to get rid of the plastic parts on the end of the selectors, have been replaced by brass, and a few other things that they upgrade in the T56, so to make it a bit stronger. So when it's all together, should be, I'm suspecting, around the 450 horsepower mark, and which the T56 will handle very easily. And then I've never had a car that powerful before. I used to have a Drift Skyline, which is about 350 horsepower, and that was a lot of fun. So I'm looking to, I'm not going to be drifting this. This is going to be a cruiser and something just fun to be on the road. It's not going to be seeing a track, not for drift use anyway. Maybe just a few power runs and taking on the corners for a bit of a laugh. Inside, so everything was just very worn inside. As you can see these seats on here, you can actually feel the frame. You can see that's the frame I'm pinching there. So when I recover these seats, I might have to do some work to get some foam on the bits that are worn. The rest of the interior I've actually had a bit of a start crack at. As I said, this door card had the hole here, but I've replaced this part. I kept the door cards that are in here, they weren't too bad. This speaker had a couple of the fittings, the push-on fittings missing, but I've managed to fix them and get it sitting back in place. So I've just kept that pretty standard. I don't really care about the stereo too much, as long as I can listen to my podcast that I usually listen to, I'll be happy. But the other modifications I've done, it's mainly not modifications, it's just fixings. So the console here was sprayed a very vibrant metallic purple, which looked horrible. So I've returned it back to, took it all out. There's a lot of videos on how to do that. I didn't get a video of it. And then used this paint, SEM Trim Black. Went on really smooth and does a great job of making it look factory. It's pretty scratch resistant. See, it's got no marks. I did it 3 coats and I've still got more than half a can if I do need to do touch-ups later. So great stuff. I highly recommend this one. The dash is in absolutely horrible condition. So I'm going to go speak to some trimmers, get some ideas. I might have a replacement available. The same guy I got the hatch and the door cards off says he may have a dash around. So he's going to look through his shipping containers and see if he can find that. If he can find that, I'll rip the whole thing out and replace it. If not, I'm probably going to pull it out and have a go at repairing it myself. I've watched a few videos. The only thing I'm worried about is there's parts up here where it's actually detached from like the frame of the dash. That's actually like just the foam is sitting up like a big triangle. So I'm going to have to like reattach it before I can even touch any of these cracks. I'm seeing along here like it's lifting up, pretty common problem. So it's not really following the shape of the dash here. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do that, but when I pull it out I'll probably have a better idea of what I can do there. It did have a copy Nardi on it, which was incredibly dangerous. It was just felt like it was made of Play-Doh in my hands. So I ripped it out first thing. I did put a Altezza wheel on, which didn't look too bad, but it had the big Altezza badge in the middle and had that big hump. I'm sure you've seen it before, which I didn't really like. I like something close to a real Nardi, so the perforations that this Celica wheel has. So this is a late model Celica, I think 2005 and up has these wheels, which I think look great. I'm not a big fan of the silver, I like it straight black. So I have actually ordered a retrim kit, so it's completely black perforated on the outside up into the center here. So I'm going to give that a go. I'm going to rip this back out. I have done it before on another wheel when I had a Toyota 86, the FT86s, as they're more commonly known, or the BRZs, and it worked really well, and it was really cheap. It was only like $60 on eBay, so I bought another one to suit this wheel, and so I'll video that when I do that. Also, I got a TRD badge, which I'm going to try and fit in here just to make it look a bit sporty. If it doesn't suit and match, I'll just keep the Toyota badge there. But obviously suits the car anyway. But we don't mind a bit of bling when appropriate. I think that would be appropriate. So the trims, the car, the headliners have got a bit of a rip in them, and they're a bit saggy. So when I pull the car apart, I'm gonna have a glow. I'm gonna pull these apart and get some spray adhesive, and have a go at maybe getting these back to a better standard. Lining's in pretty good nick, but as I said, I wouldn't mind having a go of dyeing it and getting it black. Might do a test section somewhere, and then if I don't like it, then I'll just keep it this color. It's not a big deal. Rear seats are in absolutely horrible condition. I'm sure you've seen it before. The whole entire top is just like a bag of cornflakes. It's just completely cracked and falling apart. Massive holes, massive rips. So I've got a full retrim for front and rear seats in the garage, which I'll show you at another time when I actually get into it. And the boot is a boot. It had all the plastics, but it's got a few broken parts I need to replace. Also, it has plywood as a base, so I'm going to try and get something else to replace that. I do have some carpet for it, so all the carpets will be going to replace a standard carpet, which has a hole underneath these cheap mats. There's a big hole there, so I just want to get the whole thing replaced with black rather than the grey that's in here. Also got custom floor mats that fit better to the design, so they're not sitting up on the footrest like these ones are at the back, and had the Supra logo on them, so they were pretty good buy. And a dash mat, like I said, a floor mat for the boot. So that'll work nicely with the new trim interior. But that'll be a big job stripping the entire interior. I'll have to also chase down some cables and wires that have been run through really poorly, just sitting over trim, hanging down, not tied up anywhere, that were used for some cheap speakers that were shoved in the corners, a sub in the boot, and some neons underneath the car. Not sure exactly what else was on here, so once all pulled apart, it'll be a lot easier to chase where those wires are going and cut out the ones I don't need, and make sure the ones I do need are tucked away properly where they're supposed to be. So I think that'll do for the first video, and I'll keep you up to date when I get back into it. But inside trim's probably going to be my next big task to take on, as well as maybe having a go at sanding back and filling those key scratches. Watched a few videos of Ammo. I can't remember his exact tag, but his detail work online is just phenomenal, and he had a good video on how to get rid of key scratches using nail polish and your 3000 grit sandpaper, and sort of cutting out it a bit deeper filling it with the nail polish and then sanding that down smooth, and then using a cut and polish over the entire section to get it back to what it looked like originally. I actually haven't fully thought about what color, if I'm going to keep it black or go a different color. Black's obviously going to be a lot easier, but it's also, especially in Australia, a lot harder to keep clean, and the heat, it certainly attracts the heat and makes your car extremely hot, and especially if you've got a black interior as well, it'll just fry every time you get into it after you've been in a car park, after it's been sitting in the sun. So I'll speak to my paint guy. Cameron's Body Works is probably who I'm going to use for that. They do phenomenal work, and I've known them for a long time. So I'll speak to them about possible colour changes or keeping it the original colour. But I think that'll do for now. So I'll put this online, and maybe in a week or two give you an update once, because I want to move it from here and put it in my friend's workshop to do all this, because I really don't want to be ripping out the interior in the driveway and trying to retrim seats sitting outside in the Australian summer heat. So the workshop will be a better environment for that. So I'll keep you up to date on all that. Talk to you soon.